Colin Coward, and I'd like to welcome you to this first episode of my new vlog, Unadulterated Love. You may well know me already, or may have heard of me. Some of you may be seeing and hearing me for the first time. I'm glad you've found your way here. I'm recording this in the week after the bishops of the Church of England published their response to the Living in Love and Faith process. Their response, written in preparation for a meeting of the General Synod in February, is about identity, sexuality, relationships and marriage. The Archbishops of Canterbury and York launched the LLF process in 2017 with the ambitious vision of creating a new, radical Christian inclusion. The proposals presented by the Archbishops last Friday fall well short of this ambitious vision. They have failed to deliver the radical new Christian inclusion for LGBTQIA+ people that Changing Attitude England started campaigning for in 1995. As always, the primary goal being pursued by the bishops and archbishops is unity, the unity of the Church, unity within the Church of England and unity within the Anglican Communion. The full inclusion of LGBTQIA people in the Church comes a poor second to this, and to what to me seems to be a somewhat pointless ambition. There are powerful voices in the Church, in England and in the worldwide Anglican Communion, opposed to the full inclusion of lesbian and gay people. Above all, they are deeply hostile to allowing us the freedom to marry in church. They have a powerful influence, and they have inhibited change for the last 25 years. On Sunday morning, I undertook 19 live interviews on various BBC local radio stations about the outcome of the Living in Love and Faith process. Responding to the various presenters, I realised that the big issue isn't actually disagreement over human sexuality and gender, but disagreement about the fundamentals of our faith. What kind of God do we believe in? It's all too easy when we talk about God and Jesus to assume that we are all talking about the same thing. We are not. The Church of England and the Anglican Communion are not primarily divided by irreconcilable ideas about the ordination of women and same-sex marriage. We are divided dramatically by irreconcilable ideas about God. Some, on the basis of what they read in the Bible, believe in a God who has dogmatic ideas about how human beings are allowed to behave. This God is discriminatory and prejudiced, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, sometimes racist. The views of those who believe in this kind of God have been institutionalized in the theology, teaching and practice of the Church for centuries. But there are others, including myself, possibly including you, who believe in a God whose essence is unconditional, infinite, intimate love. And this is also based on what we read in the Bible, and particularly on our experience of the presence of the holy, the sacred, the mystery of divine presence in our lives. A primary text for me is found in the first letter of John, chapter 4. My dear friends, let us love one another, because the source of love is God. Everyone who loves is a child of God and knows God. But the unloving know nothing of God, for God is love. This vision of God, God as unconditional, infinite, intimate love, God as experienced in our lives, God as energy, mystery, beauty and imagination, God as integral to creation and evolution, integral to the essence of the universe, to life on earth and to all human lives. This God I experience in my life. In 2015, I created a website and a blog, Unadulterated Love. I wanted to explore my long-held conviction that the mystery human religions name variously as God, Yahweh, Allah, is in essence the energy of unconditional love, a seamless presence woven through the universe, the essence of life on planet Earth and of our human consciousness. In John's Gospel, Jesus is reported as speaking of his coming, that we may have life, life in all its fullness. Irenaeus spoke of the glory of God as a human being fully alive. It is life in all its fullness and the experience of being fully alive that is now at the heart of my Christian conviction. But for much of my early life, I didn't feel fully alive. It was only following several years in psychotherapy, followed by training as a psychotherapist, that my body began to awaken to the experience of being and feeling more and more fully alive. I have slowly discovered that we can indeed be more fully alive, flowing with the energy of divine love, as we discover how to open ourselves to life in all its fullness. I'm a retired Anglican priest, a contemplative, and a psychotherapist. I'm gay, becoming aware of my emotional and sexual desires when I was 11 years old. I've always had confidence in my intuitive consciousness. As a result, I knew then at 11 that what the church taught about God and my sexuality was misguided, wrong. The same intuitive awareness persuaded me in my teens that the church was also wrong about many other things. The publication of Honest to God in 1963, when I was 17, showed me that I was not alone in my thinking. I grew up in Wimbledon, South London, in the Diocese of Southwark. In the 1960s, the Bishop of Southwark, Mervyn Stockwood, attracted to the diocese men and women who were energised with a vision of Christianity, of God and of Jesus and the Christian life. They were free-thinking people, creative, imaginative, inspiring. The presence of these people had a deep effect on me. They opened me to new possibilities, new ways in which Christian life could be lived and celebrated, new possibilities that eventually inspired my ministry, but which the church has even yet fully to grasp. These men and women embodied in different ways unconditional love, the vision of life in all its fullness described by Jesus. They made real my intuitive awareness that there was far more about the essence of Christianity than tradition contained. And I wanted to pursue this life. Jesus shared his vision of life in all its fullness with his followers and disciples, among them the most unlikely of people. The unlikely people around me in Southwark opened me to new possibilities. Among them, the possibility that being a Christian involved being both deeply prayerful and contemplative, and at the same time active and energised in living like Jesus, challenging, sometimes confrontational. Jesus was clearly an activist as well as a contemplative, sharing his life with all whom he met, inviting himself into their homes, engaging with and confronting the upholders of orthodoxy and tradition, illuminating life with his presence and dying for life in all its fullness. There's a question that has haunted me since those early years. How does it work How does Christianity work? How does following Jesus result in our discovering how to live life in all its fullness? How does it work when the church has become, over the last 4 decades, more and more unwilling to model life in all its fullness, and less able to teach and practice this life? The members of the Church of England live with conflicted ideas about human identity, gender, sexuality, and religious allegiance. The Church fails to major on life in all its fullness, addicted as it is to authority, biblical tradition and fundamentalism, orthodoxy. As a result, the Church suppresses and represses human energy and imagination in the name of maintaining unity as the prime goal. Following Jesus invites us to live life in all its fullness. His followers are invited to become more open, liberated, energized, compassionate and passionate, loving with heart and mind, body and soul, countering prejudice and abuse, releasing us from misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, and racism. The followers attracted to Jesus by his energy and love found the courage themselves to open to the energy of the cosmos. Energy flows when we open ourselves to life in all its fullness, living somewhat more recklessly and generously as human beings more and more fully alive. In the coming weeks and months, I hope to describe in more detail elements of my vision and experience of living life more fully, including ideas for a personal spiritual practice rooted in this vision. I'm a work in process, and my ideas are visions in process. Thank you for watching this first episode. I hope you will be inspired to venture further with me. You can find more information about me and read previous blogs exploring these ideas on my website www.unadulteratedlove.net. Goodbye.